Hi, friend. Welcome to the Peace and Love podcast. Today, I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right in and start talking about the Massive Action Month, what that even means, and how to do it for yourself. The Massive Action Month is for when you have a goal or a desired reality that you're trying to align with, and you're really in for it. You're dedicated, you're committed, you're fully willing, and this is your new reality. This is your new experience. So after shifting your internal state, you're going to start to shift your outside state. I wouldn't recommend doing this every month because you're going to get burnt out, but we know what you reap is what you sow. So really the point of this is to just really sow a lot of seeds in a month. And whether it pays off that month or at a later time, it doesn't matter. But this is a lot of sowing going on so that you can reap a lot of benefits. So step one of the process is finding your goal or your desired reality. So what does that mean? And how do you even find that? So first of all, you're going to look at your goal or look at some experience of life that you're wanting to have. The first time I did this, I came up with a character and I just sat down and I said, well, what does this version of Siva's life look like? And I sat and I pictured it. What does she do when she gets up? What does she think about? What does she care about? How does she spend her time? Just every little detail that you can possibly imagine about this person's daily routine. Okay, congrats, now you have the blueprint. It's really that simple. You can just tap into other versions of self by putting attention on what they're putting attention on, because you're aligning your consciousness with them and that. So it's really the same for a goal. You're just aligning yourself with a version of you who is complete in this way. What does the millionaire see? What does the millionaire think? What does the millionaire hear? You see where I'm going? Now, I do want to put a little disclaimer here. I really believe one of the most challenging parts about manifestation is choosing what you would like to manifest. Because a lot of times, what we really want comes in layers. So, first layer, I want a car. Okay, well, let's peel back that layer of a Tesla. Okay, what's under there? Well, I want to be perceived as classy and elegant. Well, let's peel that layer back too. What's under there? I really want my peers' approval. Well, what's under that layer? I really want attention from my family. What's under that layer? I really want to be seen, heard, loved. And you can just keep peeling these layers to a point where you'll get to your abandonment issues and feeling unloved. It's worth peeling back those layers and seeing what you really want. Because if you really felt loved, if you really felt seen, would you want the Tesla? Really want that job? Do you really want that partner? Because if you don't really want the partner or the job, you're going to go on a seeking quest. You get that job. Now, oh, nothing has changed. What else do I want from the external? But if you go in and address that internal void, when you get something, it actually feels complete. You'll actually already feel complete. And you won't feel the need to have so much on the outside anyways. So you may end up wanting that car, but it won't come from a lacking space. And it'll be easier for you to achieve having car in the first place. Because remember this, you can never have what you want. Ah, Siva, I thought you believed in manifestation. What are you saying? You can never have what you want because you can't have something and want something at the same time. The want energy I'm referring to here is desire, deep desire and craving, a space of lack. So that energy comes nowhere near having something in the experience of actually achieving and being grateful for what you have in your possession. So that's why you can't ever have what you want. The remedy is to get a little closer to the energy of having and what that looks like. So that's why we're tapping into the consciousness and the experience of life that a version of yourself who has what you desire currently already has, already achieved. And if you've picked the right goal, you should be fairly close to that version of self. And it might be a little bit of a stretch, and you'll know that your goals are in the right spot where you think, oh my gosh, I don't really know if I can quite get there. So the first time that I did this, I wrote my person's daily routine, correct? So then I said, okay, what aspects of this am I going to put in my daily routine? And you all know me, I go hard or go home, so I have about 19 things on this list. And my coach and my family saw this and said, "Don't you think that's a bit much?" And I was like, well, maybe. The thing that I like about this is it's a lot easier on the conscious mind to say, I'm going to do this for 30 days than to say, I'm going to do this indefinitely. Yes, I can eat clean for 30 days. Yes, I can exercise every day for 30 days. That's not going to kill you. So when you wake up on those days that it's not that much energy, you don't really want to, well, it's only 30 days. On day 31, you can sit your butt down if you want to. This goes back to the podcast that I had last week. I've gotten so good with agreements with myself. I know that if I made a agreement like this, that I would fully do it and fully commit to it. And because I am going the extra mile, I actually made a contract with myself. And I said that starting sunset, on the date I specified, the next day I will do all these things. And I signed it 3 times for a past versions of self, current version, and future versions of self. So all aspects of myself agree to this agreement wholly and with integrity. So for 30 days, no excuses. And so that really gives you that extra push on days where you don't want to do something. And I've talked about this in the last podcast, where on the days that you don't want to do something, if all that you can conjure up as a reason to do it is that you agree to it, that's all it's going to take when you're 100% within your word. My word is law. So discipline is definitely a key part of this. Don't get me wrong. These things that you agree to, though, should be very intentional. I created my character. I knew what they would be like, and I knew that I could kind of tap into that experience. And I honestly, now that I'm talking about it out loud, I really think I did tap into it, because one of the things that was on that list is make a daily TikTok. And y'all, I am new at all of this. I'm new at podcasting. I'm new at TikToking relatively. I'm newly a social media person, and I haven't always been a person who wants to share like that. When I tell you, when I first started TikToks, I didn't want to post them. I was terrified. I was scared about what other people would think of me, if my content was good enough, how it would be received. I cared about every little aspect. I knew to merge with this version of self that I would be making TikToks in this reality. So I put down, make a TikTok every day, and you don't have to post it. But I knew I could kind of tap into that version of self just by performing the action of creating TikToks, right? So I did this for 2 months. Because I did agreements 2 months in a row, and I recorded TikToks every day for 2 months, and I didn't post a single one of them. So 2 months of creating TikToks, one day I couldn't even take it anymore. All the fear went away because, well, not all of it, but most of the fear went away because I was so excited that I had been working on things for 2 months and I hadn't posted a single thing. I really just wanted to share at that point, and half of my fear was that I would start TikTok and then stop. And at that point, I knew fully that I could make something every single day, even on the days where I had no clue what to do. I would figure it out somehow. So I knew that I could do it. And that was in November. It's now April, so it's been 6 months, and I've been posting and creating TikToks every day since then. And I've missed maybe one time, and it wasn't because I forgot. I consciously chose and I decommitted. There's a huge difference with that too. But that's how serious I am. 6 months, and there was only one day I wasn't working at this. That is how serious I am, and that's how serious you will be too with these agreements. And fast forward to today, it's honestly not something I even consciously think about too much. It's like, oh, now is the time of the day where I have some free time. I got to go make my TikTok. It's like brushing your teeth. I almost dislike using that analogy though, because I remember I was having a rough patch and my dad noticed this and he said, okay, let's go on a walk. He kind of convinced me. I didn't really want to go on a walk. I didn't have the energy. But we get on this walk and he's talking to me, trying to kind of see what's going on in my world. And I was just broke down. I said, Dad, I don't feel like I can do anything. It is hard for me right now. And it's hard to wash my face in the morning. It's hard to brush my teeth. I'm struggling with just doing the basic things. It's hard to eat. And so I totally understand if this is like so much girl, I can't even brush my teeth in the morning. What are you talking about? Make 19 extra things in my daily routine. Well, that's a part of it too. This is what you need to do if you have this type of sluggishness. You got to make a non-negotiable, but you need to make your own list of things that there's not a conversation about it. There's not a, should I brush my teeth today? Should I make a TikTok? It's like a list of things where you know, this is what I've committed to. And that's how I got out of that state of, I can't even brush my teeth. I turned it into a non-negotiable. Okay, I woke up. It's time to brush my teeth. It's a non-negotiable. So that means that no matter what story I create about it, no matter what's going on the outside, this is just something that I've committed to, and there's no reason to even talk about it with myself. It's just a non-negotiable. It's just something that I do. We start lacking on our commitments when we bring all that mind talk into it, the monkey brain. Oh, I don't want to go to the gym today because this morning I did a walk and blah, 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 and all these other reasons that we can literally conjure up out of nowhere to say why we shouldn't do something that we committed to. And once you have a non-negotiable or a commitment, you're like, okay, there's not even a need for a conversation. I'm just going to go get dressed and get in my car. It's really that simple. The hardest part is figuring out what you want and why you want it, and then make that list. What does that version of self do every day? Some things on my list, besides making a TikTok, was meditate at least once a day, wake up before sunrise, pick out my outfit the night before, journal in my journal, things that I really believed were happening in my desired reality. This also gives you a test run. Maybe that version of self doesn't actually pick out their outfit the day before, but it gives you a month to test it out and see, do I really not like this, or am I just quitting because it's a challenge? I probably will do a whole podcast at some point about picking out a dream reality and really aligning with it, because it's not just an action thing, folks. First, before the action, you have to be energetically aligned with this. You have to really bring in the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions that come with this type of reality. The external one is just acting as if. That's really what this exercise is. It's acting as if, putting a whole bunch of energy and a whole bunch of motion on top of it, because you might not start reaping at first, but all of this energy, all of this attention, an object in motion stays in motion. And that's the point of this massive action month, because an object in motion stays in motion, and you will end up getting a lot of traction in all areas of life you wouldn't expect because of how on the ball you are in whatever areas you're working at. This is a sure way to raise your energy and to get more stuff done. This might sound counterintuitive. How am I going to get more done when I have more to do? A big part of time management is being busy. I honestly think a lot of people who say they have too much to do have too little to do. You won't be able to manage your time correctly if you aren't in a good flow. The more things that you have on your schedule, the less likely you will be to procrastinate and take a long time with them. It'll make a flow within your experience. So don't be afraid to overload yourself a little bit. Yes, it might be a little bit overwhelming, and yes, it might be a little bit of a challenge figuring out time management, but this is really how you figure that out, and it's really how you get on ball with it, because once you learn this and you learn flexibility, you'll learn that time is flexible actually, and your day can mold around what you've got going on. When things pop up, you don't freak out because you can be flexible and still have space to get what you need to get done. And like I said, this is a 30-day challenge. You're not doing these things every month because that would be too much. I tried it. Believe me. I tried to do this like 3 months in a row. And by month 3, I was like, I can't do this. So it's a good one for a month of massive movement, massive change. But beyond that, you've got to flow within what's working and what's serving you. This is a great way to tap into a different timeline and to see what works and what serves you and experiment around. But you definitely don't want to overload yourself every month and kind of make your life a hassle of working hard, because the point is not to work hard, because working hard does not get you results. Working hard has you working hard, and we want to work smarter, not harder. Things might seem challenging at first, because my guess is that your dream reality or desired reality is a different consciousness level from what you are. I know my consciousness level has changed a lot over the past few months, and physically able to get more things done because of it. So it might be challenging to tap into a new frequency, but then once you're in alignment with it, once you're there, you're there. In one of my all-time favorite books, Levels of Energy by Frederick Dodson, he talks a lot about changing frequency and shifting to a new level of consciousness, but he talks about not aiming too high, because it's like jumping on a speeding train. If the speeding train is going too fast, it's not going to work. It's a bit like that. So you kind of want to catch the train at a good speed. So not too high and not too low. So it might be a little bit of a shift jumping onto that new train, but once you're on the train, you're on the train, you're golden. And it's really what it boils down to, changing your level of consciousness. So use your imagination, dream up a reality that you would love to be in alignment with, see what's going on in there, and start adding that to your routine. See what happens. Peace and love at ya.